So equality and balance are one of the most important concepts in mathematics. When we say something that's equal, it means something very specific. It's not the answer to a question. Equal means balance. It means that the one side of the equals is exactly the same as the other side. So it's very important that we understand what that equals is very specific and important. And we don't want to be using equals all over the place as a calculation. It's not the answer to a calculation. It actually shows balance. Okay. So when we talk about equations, we want the model that we're going to use is the balance model. So we're going to show that something is balanced. So when one thing is equal to another, we're going to show it is a balance. So if you take a look at this picture here, this picture shows a balance. And it shows that things are balanced in that equation. So as we look at the balance, the physical properties of balance always are going to show up in the algebraic properties of the balance. So if we take a look at the properties of a balance, we're going to say that property 1 and 2 are going to be the adding and subtracting properties. So that's when we talk about property 1 and 2, we're going to talk about adding and subtracting. So what that means is that if we start with a balance, okay, and this is this expression here, maybe we'll call that 2x plus 5 kilograms, balance is 13 kilograms. If I add 8 kilograms to this side and 8 kilograms to this side, okay, we're going to stay in balance because it's not going to tip over that balance. Okay, if I take away, okay, I can also not only add, but I can also take away. If I take away 3 kilograms on this side and take away 3 kilograms on this side, this balance is going to remain balanced, and that's a very important thing. I don't even need to know what I'm taking away. I can take away some unknown value a, but as long as I take away the same amount from this side, okay, we know that this balance will stay balanced. So this is going to be property 1 and 2. When we add or subtract, the equation stays balanced. So we're starting with x equals y. We can do plus 3, it stays balanced. Starting with the x equals y, we could do minus 5, and the equation stays balanced. So there's really only one rule with equations. You must keep it balanced, and that's it. That's the only rule we have. Okay, just keep it balanced. We can do all sorts of things to it as long as we keep it balanced. Now there's some things we can do that may not necessarily help us solve equations, but it doesn't mean we can't do it. Okay, as long as it's balanced, we're allowed to do it. So property 3 and 4 is going to be multiplying and dividing. So property 3 is multiplying and property 4 is dividing. So if we have a balance and like this, and we take half of each side, so I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to take half of the 8 kilograms, and if I take half of the 20 kilograms, this will stay balanced. Okay, so if I take just half of each side, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that I take different things away. It's as long as I took half away from the left side and half away from the right side, it will remain in balance. Okay, if I doubled this, okay, so if I doubled this up and said, well, I have 4 of these x's, and I'm going to put another 8 kilograms on here, and I doubled this side to another 20 kilograms. Okay, so I'd add another 20 kilograms to that side. This will stay balanced. So we're allowed to do this. As long as we keep it balanced, everything's okay. So this property then, we can multiply or divide both sides of the balance by the same amount. So I can times both sides by 3, it stays balanced. I can take half of each side, it stays balanced. Where this is useful is when we're actually solving. Because if I have 2x's equals 12, I can divide both sides by 2. I can take half of the 2x, which is 1x, half of the 12, which is 6, and this happens to solve my equation. It allows me to figure out what 1x is. So this is kind of leading us towards what we're eventually going to do with this, but today we're not solving. Today we're just showing properties, properties of balance. So property 5 is equal replacement. So if I say that x minus 3 is equal to y, these two things are equivalent to each other. That means that if I have a y in this expression, this y can be replaced by an equivalent x minus 3. And I'm going to get that x minus 3 in there. And my original equation, 3y equals 2x minus 7, is going to be the same as, and 3 times x minus 3 equals 2x minus 7. So basically the 2x minus 7 will balance this expression as equally as that expression there, because y and x minus 3 are equivalent. And so this is equivalent replacement. And when we have equivalent replacement, we don't change the balance. And we haven't broken the only rule that we have.